Cross.
Hi, my name is Anna.
And I'm Peyton.
Ow.
Oh, can you turn off?
And today is already chaotic from the first episode. What are we doing today?
Today we are here with episode 1 of our new mini-series, Becoming a Stay. And we are super excited. And we also have the long-awaited reasoning for why we decided to do a Stray Kids mini-series. Anna, please explain.
So before I give the reason why, also just disclaimer, if you hear a lot of noise from my end, there are many people at my house right now. But anyways, on to the reason why we decided to do this mini-series. So the title of this is called Becoming a Stay, because obviously Stay is the fandom name for Stray Kids. And to be honest, we basically are stays already.
I am a stay.
Okay, so the reason that I can't call myself a stay yet is because...
So basically, around the time of the God's Menu promotions, I was like talking to Anna like, oh my gosh, have you seen it yet? All this other stuff. And then I started talking about other songs of Stray Kids that I really liked. And she was like, oh, I've never heard that one before. Wait, I've never heard that one before either. And so I just started listing off songs. And basically we realized that Anna thought she knew all of their songs. But it turns out she does not.
Here's the thing. I thought that I knew all of their title tracks because the songs that I knew, I was like, oh, this is the amount of title tracks that a group of their age would typically have. But no, it just turns out that they have so much music that all that I knew was their pre-debut and debut stuff.
So basically, we're gonna do this mini-series to catch Anna up on the title tracks, as well as some of the B-sides that they have released music videos for. And it will also be fun for me because I haven't seen some of these videos in a while.
And what's super exciting about this is also we'll be releasing these episodes in the 2 weeks leading up to their comeback. So their comeback will be the last episode of this mini-series, which is very fun and exciting.
Alright, so that being said, today's episode is a little bit different from the others because these are actually 3 songs that Anna is familiar with, although I'm guessing it's probably been a minute since she has listened to them or watched these music videos. We'll be reacting to the pre-debut track Hellevator, their debut track District 9, and their first comeback title track, My Pace.
So the only ones that I really know.
So the only ones that she really knows. So for this video alone, we might not have as many comments, but we'll see. We're just gonna, fam, it's gonna be a fun time.
Alright, that being said, let's just get started. See, we watched this together for the first time.
Yeah, we did. The day it came out,
I was at your apartment.
Yeah. Until very recently, this actually remained my favorite song. It's changed recently though.
Wow, they are so young in this. This is 2017.
Wow. This is such a throwback. Oh my gosh. Oh, Chan's hair.
He looks so baby in this.
Baby Jesus. What?
Chan, I was saying, looks so young in this compared to now. I literally am just having flashbacks to laying down in your bed in your apartment watching this. Oh, those days.
I remember when this first came out, and the elevator has the hell button and stuff, and we were so edgy for a K-pop group.
And we were oh my god, they're from JYP, what?
Oh. This is I love this part of the song.
He looks like a child. Oh, silence.
Oh, I love that part.
Silence. But yeah, this song is like really high. It lulls you into a false sense of security, into thinking that it's not very high because of like that synth sound.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
nope,
remember
when
in
it starts
the
singing.
survival show, JYP makes a comment where he's like, Tan, you wrote this in a female key.
Yeah, I struggle singing
Yeah.
this.
Meanwhile, Jisung.
Alright, to be fair, I'm an alto. Listen. I feel like we aren't really making comments.
I just.
Oh, the hell button!
Right?
H. Oh my god. He's rapping.
Oh.
I just saw the baby.
But then, wait, I love this part because they're like all together and so they're not in hell. They're like in the pretty field.
They went up the
Yeah.
elevator, and now they're here. Wow. I mean, like, it's the pre-debut thing, so I feel like it's mostly dancing in the music video, you know?
Aw.
Oh, but this was so cool to
The
me when I
Inception
first saw that
shot.
picture, yeah.
Wow, that was such a throwback. Okay, so especially since this was a pre-debut track and the one that we are both the most familiar with, I don't think we have a ton to say. I mean, dance-wise, I feel like pre-debut tracks especially tend to be a lot more repetitive because they're really working more on refining their skills. I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not good. I like remember watching this for the first time and being like, oh, I'm gonna love them. And look where we are now. That's all I have to say. Anna, your turn.
I mean, I said a lot of it when we were watching the music video. Like, it is pitched very high, and yeah, in the Stray Kids pre-debut show, JYP himself says, he's like, you wrote this in a female key. And like, that's what I'm saying. The singing parts are really, really high, but like the rest of the song kind of lulls you into false sense of security because the playing in the background is just like really
What was that? One more time, please.
Anyways, that noise lulls you into a false sense of security because it's like so like low and deep sounding. It's one of those things where like you don't just hear it, you feel it. So it makes you feel like it's really deep and like the key is really low, but it's not. And like I feel like it's gonna be like this for a lot of Stray Kids songs where since they're more rap based, it's more difficult for me to make comments because I can't comment on rapping. But one thing about the vocal lines is that almost all the phrases end on like a sustained note, and it kind of feels like a cry out, like a cry out of desperation, which is like what this pre-debut song is about. So that makes sense to me. Anyways,
next. Okay, so now we will be watching Stray Kids' debut song, District 9. Let's go.
Wait,
Oh,
okay.
Anna, question?
Is this the one that goes "Sakta 뒤집어놔, whoa, 다시 일어나, whoa"? That one?
We don't even need to react to it. She knows the whole song already. Right.
Oh. Okay. Are they like in an institution?
I have not watched this music video, I think, since the day it came out.
Oh. Oh, I've seen memes of this. With like the baby cry. He's still rapping. Is this before he started like singing more? So Peyton really loves Hanjin.
Sing along, Anna.
Wow. So is this like a dystopian AU storyline? Yeah?
I think so.
Do they have barcodes? Oh.
But again, this feels like I'm watching it for the first time. It's been 3 years. Or 2 years?
Oh, it's just a thing where it feels like it's coming from a different part. Like, it's whispering. Oh, I love the... Oh.
And they're breaking out.
Oh, there's some other... Oh, 이거, 맞아. Oh, what? What's happening?
They're breaking
out. It was all a simulation. What?
Oh, I love his like fluffy hair.
See, he's having a deep voice intense moment and we're just over here like, oh. Red, and he has a red background. Haha. Oh, I've seen. That's the thing that they clown him for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I know. Now I get it. Fire.
And they're dancing in water, but like it gives me more the feeling that it's like they're dancing in gasoline since it's all the fire.
Fire in the background. Oh, that's
which makes
cool.
it way more intense. Where's baby?
Stabbing noises.
스트레이키즈. So I'm just gonna say a couple of things because I am more familiar with this, but like it actually has been a really long time since I've watched this music video, so that felt like seeing it for the first time, even though I know the song and the dance really well. If you've ever watched this channel, you know that I'm not someone that like pays a lot of attention to all of the theories. I like let other people figure it out and then I just read all of the theories. I think it's really interesting because I don't remember reading too much about this one at the time because I also just didn't pay attention to it back then. But I feel like now, being way more familiar with Stray Kids and looking back at it, it's like so apparent they're in some sort of dystopian lab and they break out of it, but like it obviously, at least to me, is definitely a metaphor for like the K-pop training industry, and they're breaking out of it and they're making Stray Kids like way in the world, like literally making their own district, and I think that's really cool. It's just very on brand and they've really stuck with that brand. You can't see too much of the dance in the music video, so I won't say much about it even though I'm like super familiar with the dance, but one big thing about it is that it's so different than what so many boy groups debut with. And it's just because, like we've talked about on this channel before, generally speaking, when a group debuts, it's all about showing like how young and how youthful we are, and like again with Stray Kids concept, they're doing things their own way and like in their own style, and I love that. And this dance is the same way, like it's much heavier and it's much more like grounded. It just doesn't feel like a debut dance, if that makes sense. It feels like a lot more mature, like something you would see several years into debut. And then the part that I really love, so when they do the da, 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 at the first part, they do this like turn in the air, but then in the third chorus, to change it up, they do the turn on the ground, like they mimic the same turn in the floor work, and it's so cool. I think it's so cool. Other than that, I don't really have too much to say, although I will comment back to you, Anna, because I did it in the music video. I do love Hyunjin. I love him a lot, but also I am just incredibly fond of all of them, like so fond. But yeah, Anna's turn.
Yeah, we're just gonna wait a little bit.
I'll just talk about how much I love Stray Kids. we talked about this the other day, is it's so interesting to me because off stage they're all just such fluff balls. And it kind of reminds me of like my old roommate and how she's like, I am darkness.
The small
one. I am darkness, but it's like just sunshine and cuddles and giggles. That's kind of what they remind me of. Are they being quiet now?
Hello. So, my comments. So yeah, although I have listened to the song before, it's been a while since I listened to the whole song. So like first, starting out in the beginning, that siren sound, I know I joked about it when we were reacting because like I have seen the meme where the baby is crying and it goes into the beginning. But obviously like the siren in the beginning is like a warning, which fits for the music video because they're like breaking out, so it's like, oh, warning, someone's trying to escape, but also warning, like, warning, Stray Kids is here now, you know? That's the baby crying that goes into this. But then also in the first verse, and I think the second verse too, but like it cuts out for like pre-chorus, chorus, the siren is playing still in the background, like the but it's like really faintly in the background. And then just pointing out like a few other things, like obviously it's an intense song, so they have the intense electric guitar throughout the whole thing and a lot of like the heavy bass synth sounds, also typical like triplet rap that happens. But the thing is, I can't really comment on raps because like I don't know rapping, but one thing that I find really interesting with the song is like they have the instrumental come out while, especially like Changmin's part, the killing part that everyone knows, they have most of the instrumental come out when he's rapping because like he plays with the rhythms a lot with it. He really like accents the points and it gets emphasized even more because they'll bring in percussion just for like the part that he's accenting. And then one thing that I find really interesting about the song is the vocal parts in the chorus. Like obviously they have emotion in them, like they have intensity in them, but they're more pure sounding than I would expect them to be. The instrumental is really gritty, like the rap is really intense and hard hitting. I would expect the vocals to be a little bit grittier, like huskier, maybe like some growls or something, but the vocals are more, it's like very clean and it's not like a bad thing. Hearing it, I was like taken aback a little bit. I was surprised, but it's kind of interesting because it also kind of acts like a break from the really intense grittiness of the rest of the song.
I mean, it also, because of the line they're singing and the like the da 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 da, it sounds kind of like that. It like emulates the siren sound, at least to me.
Oh, but the line that I'm talking about particularly is the second half where it's like da 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 da. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. So next.
Okay, so the last video that we'll be watching in this one is their title track off of their first comeback mini album, My Pace. Let's just watch it.
Is this a continuation? Or no? No?
I don't think I've seen this music video since the day it came out either.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't go back and rewatch music videos. I watch a lot of live stages and I rewatch dance practices all the time, but I don't rewatch music videos.
Oh, I do know this one.
You do know this
one?
one?
Yeah. We sing it to each other. That part. This part. 아, 이게 아닌데? Oh, that was funny. We watched this together.
We have watched.
I just remember because of this part.
It's like rewatching the music video for the first time all over again. But I know the dance.
Whisper things always like throw me off.
Singing.
Yay! Oh. Oh, the background is very high.
Oh my gosh, is this where they did the Fortnite dances? Or is it later in the... I think it's later in it. My favorite thing, you can even see it in this. Oh, 1 second.
I like his interjections.
This is such an interesting like music video choice though, how they keep doing the split screen.
Yeah. I think it is interesting.
He always looks so happy, even in the most intense moments.
I know.
I love it.
It's like how in tragedies you need comedic relief. It's like in the really intense songs you need like the little
You
break.
need tongue in.
Oh. I mean, sorry, Iron.
Iron, yeah.
Like how we need to call him Han and not Chisang, and we need to call him Lino, not Mino. Right? Is this part actually in the song, or is it just a music video thing?
It is not in the song.
Oh, I feel like it's too long to be.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, baby. Sorry. Snaps. Oh, the snaps are still there. Okay. Background vocal ad-libs.
Here we go.
That's very high. That was really high, actually. I just thought about it. Oh, you didn't get to see the Fortnite dance.
Now that I think about it though, that might be in a different song. Again, I don't think I've seen that music video either since the first day that it came out. So that was really weird because I was like, I know the song, I know the dance. I have no idea what I'm watching. I like the concept for it a lot. Obviously, it's like racetrack, and there's a bunch of different types of races happening and like different types of racers, and it's my pace, and they talk about like stay in your lane, that sort of thing. And that's still very on brand for Stray Kids. But just a couple of things about the dance. The choreography for this is pieced together, like super smart, and part of it is just the song, but the choreography, like what they've matched with it is really interesting because there's some like super high energy moments that like you might think, oh, they're professionals, like they could totally like keep that up for the whole song, but some of it like you could not keep up for the whole song. Like the intro is super high energy, and then immediately afterwards, like the song itself slows down, but you could still do some more difficult movements. But there's like a couple of eights where they're doing more just like looking, shoulder, and it kind of lets them breathe for a second because they've just been doing these really high energy jump kick things, and that's really smart. In relation to that as well, I feel like compared at least to Hellevator and District 9, this one shows a lot more of their range because obviously before this they had other B-sides and stuff that had shown other sides of them, but for a title track, even though this one still is like more hard-hitting, there's different sections to it, and like some are a little bit more playful, some get a little bit slower, and their dance reflects that as well, whereas in Hellevator and District 9 it's pretty like percussive the whole time. This one has some like slower swing sections and some more like upbeat, a little bit funkier sections, and I think that's really cool because generally speaking I feel like you would not see all of them mixed into one choreography. Like you might see one and then maybe like a hint at another one, but this one they're very like distinctive sections, and so that's really interesting to me. And then just the very last thing, there's one move in this that I love. They drop to their knee and they turn and switch legs and stand back up, and it's really cool. They do it twice. They do it once during Tan's part in the first verse, and then 3 of them do it during Hyunjin's rap, and I love that move. It's such an illusion. Illusion in dance is kind of like, it makes you think it's a lot more difficult than it is, and for sure if you just drop to your knee right now and try to do it, you'd probably get tangled up and like fall over. And I was like, yeah, but it just works so well with the song where it is and with like what's going on at the time, and I really love that, and like can confirm because if I love something I show it to my mom, and let's just say my mom has seen this dance practice. Anna's turn.
So, to start with my comments, I like know that I knew this song before, but it's like I only really remembered the na 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 part. So one thing that I really like about the song is the meaning of the lyrics, because like, I don't know, I feel like it's very relevant, especially for people living in Korea. Like, don't compare yourself to others, just go at your own pace. And that's really difficult to do, but I think it's really important because like something someone has said to me before is like comparison is what ruins your happiness. And I think that that's something to take with you, and that's basically what the song is saying. Like, don't compare yourself to others, like just go at your pace and be okay with that, and it's fine. You do you, boo. That's basically what they're saying.
Chan wouldn't say boo, he would say baby girl.
Ew! 하지마!
I've left this blog.
Oh!
Anyways.
I think it's good to relay such like a, I guess, serious meaning in like a more lighthearted, fun song. I feel like they show a lot more personality in this compared to like Hellevator and District 9. And I feel like I'm specifically thinking of like Changbin's little interjections that he does. But to talk a little bit about like musically, one thing that I liked was in like the pre-chorus vocal interludes that like started with Changbin and then goes to Ian and then goes to Lino. At the beginning of each phrase, there's like these two synth sounds that go like doo-doo, doo-doo, and they reverb a lot. So it has kind of like, you feel like you're underwater and like the dreamlike feeling, like I'm lost in my head, which is like what they're doing because they're lost in their heads, comparing themselves to other people, the inner conflict, but then they're like, no, I shouldn't compare myself to other people, you know? But then the last comment that I had was, the song is called My Pace, but then they keep like changing the pace of the song a lot throughout it, and it's not like they're changing the tempo at any point or whatever, but when they're counting the beat, they'll go like on every single 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll do that too, but then they'll also go double time, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or do like half time, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like they play with the percussive elements a lot, and it's kind of like how you were saying there are so many distinct sections in the song. There's so many like different distinct ways that each member is going at their own pace in life, you know? Like,
but it's always at the same tempo because they're all like going together.
Okay, that being said, that's all I have to say. Okay, TLDR.
TLDR is we are super excited to be here with our first episode of Becoming a Stay. The technicalities of that are up in the air, but either way, this was really fun. These are songs that we are actually both familiar with to varying extents, and it was fun to watch the music videos again and also listen to them and watch them a little bit more critically so that we could talk about some of the elements that they have worked really hard to put in there. And we're really excited for this mini-series to listen to all of their title tracks and some of their B-sides, and then to end with their new comeback.
So, that being said, if you liked this video and also love Stray Kids and are really excited for this mini-series and very excited for the comeback that is coming very soon, and are willing to put up with our weirdness for this mini-series, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!
Bye-bye!